What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Asus Ally video for you guys today, or I should say, at least I hope so. After what happened on the Steam Deck, we might not be getting any gameplay, really. But basic plan for this video is, FSR 3 is out. It's in 2 games, Forspoken and Immortals of Aveum, and I figured we would try out Forspoken first. Now on the Steam Deck, I mistakenly said I was going to test out FrameGen, but that is a feature only for 7000 series GPUs of AMD right now. Might come to stuff later. Not sure if it's a thing that has to have technology it's only available in the 7000 series or not. But anyway, game didn't even run well because it gave me a warning on the Steam Deck that said this game requires more than 16 gigabytes of memory, and then you have to hit either OK or cancel. So that might happen here, and we might get screwed. Don't want it to shut the screen off on me, so we'll just do that real quick. Sometimes if I talk too long, it shuts the screen off and then the camera gets all blurry on me. But anyway, so hopefully we'll be able to test and get in there and see if this thing actually supports FrameGen. It does have a 780M, which is still a 7000 series GPU, but still might not be supported for reasons, you know? So let's not waste any more time and see if the game even runs without trying to give everyone a seizure like the Steam Deck tried to do, and go from there. Well, we are not off to a good start. We're getting the same warning label we got on the Steam Deck saying that this needs more than 16 gigs of memory. So I guess let's just hit OK and see what happens. So now, I'll try to go hop into the settings and see if it's a frickin' seizure mode like it was in the Steam Deck. Well, alright guys. Well, besides it not being completely full screen, it's on that borderless crap and it's doing that shit where it's showing like the top bar and everything, but besides that, everything should be fine. Oh good, we can do full screen. Thank you. It wasn't working before. See? That's what I always say. Whenever I try to show you guys something, it fixes itself. So, hell yeah, reverse psychology, so now we got our full screen, so now that's not an issue anymore. Sweet. But anyway, so, basically we're just going to run with the settings I went with for the Steam Deck, I believe. And we're going to go with FSR 3 quality first, and then we'll try FrameGen out, even though, if I recall, FrameGen doesn't work well if you don't have close to 60, so that's probably going to be a terrible experience, but we're going to try it anyway, for science. And we're going to do a base of 1080p first, and then we'll do 720p after this. There's all the settings I am using for this particular test. So this is a base of 1080p with just FSR 3 on. So let's go hop on into the game and we'll see how she plays. Well, alright. It seems as though the Steam Deck settings don't really work well at 1080p. See, we're only getting like 20 FPS here. Not exactly what I call playable, and this is with FSR on, so yeah, definitely not very playable.
You're mine. I'm sure you needed my help there, really. Probably not. Incoming. We got this. Can't complain about an easy ride.
So yeah, definitely not a playable experience. At least not with the Steam Deck settings at a base of 1080p anyway. Maybe it'll be a little bit closer to playable once we drop it down to 720p. But like I said, FrameGen I don't think is going to help us here. From what I'm understanding is it's going to still feel just as laggy and terrible as it does right now. It'll just fool the FPS thing into saying, oh yeah, you're getting like 60 FPS now, but it'll probably feel just as bad. But we can still try it for science. But yeah, this is horrible FPS. Normally I'd get like a lot more footage than this, but since we're getting such low FPS, we're just going to go ahead and turn FrameGen on and skip ahead, you know? Now we are going to try turning on FrameGen here with a base resolution of 1080p here. We also obviously have FSR on. This is, I believe, AMD's implementation requires FSR to be on to use it. You can't just have it on standalone like on NVIDIA. At least in my understanding. Could be wrong, but that's how I understood it. So again, we're just on quality FSR 3, but we've got FrameGen turned on now. And besides that, everything is exactly how I had it. And we were only getting like 17 to like 26 FPS, so not a very playable experience. And that's with my Steam Deck settings that I was using on the Steam Deck, so anyway, let's go hop back in the game and see how FrameGen either helps or doesn't help at all. Well, now here we are in game with FrameGen on now. And while it does say we're getting like 40 FPS now, I'm sure you guys can notice there's still a lot of input latency. So like I thought, it basically feels like I'm getting the same 17 to 20 FPS, but it's saying we're getting 40. So yeah, it still doesn't feel playable, but AMD pretty much told me this was going to happen, at least to my understanding, so I'm not very surprised. This is mostly just a silly video for science, really. Then I figured some people would be interested to see how it would run on this.
That'll teach you. Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, not very playable. Feels basically just the same as it did before. I mean, don't get me wrong, I can attack stuff and kill them. It's not like it's completely unplayable. It just doesn't feel like a very fun experience, at least to me. Dang it, got hit because I hit the wrong button.
Come and meet me,
Restore that hell.
okay, Pop? All right. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Man, it's so laggy and input laggy as well. Not fun.
We got this.
Honestly, can't believe I am getting kills. But I'm getting hit a lot more than I did on any of the other systems. But it's not gonna be a great game anyway, but I wasn't getting hit very much. I still was pretty decent at dodging around and whatnot.
You're gonna love it.
That went well.
That is it. That asshole's going nowhere. Ah. Ha. Got you on your toes now.
The first moments of any battle are crucial.
Here's what we got now.
Alright. I think that's plenty of frame gen gameplay here. Not exactly a great experience. So, let's go tone it down to 720p and see if we can't make this a little more playable. Alright, gonna tone it down to 720p now. Still full screen and all that stuff. And then we're just gonna do FSR 3 first, and then we'll try frame gen, even though it's, like I thought, not a great experience on stuff like this, because you're not getting anywhere close to 60 as it is, so it's basically just masking the same FPS. At least, that's how it feels to me. Maybe I'm like reverse placeboing myself. Who knows? But we're running the same settings we were running at 1080p, because they're basically the Steam Deck settings. Oh, except for that. That's one other thing we can turn down. I thought I had that on standard the whole time. Clouds can F your FPS a lot, but still, it's not like that would have made 1080p instantly playable or anything. But, since we got that out of the way, why don't we hop back into the game and we'll see how she plays now. Well, alright. Seems like we're getting like 30-ish FPS now.
I'd imagine you'll have this wrapped up pretty quickly.
Yep, no sweat. Good fun.
Well, that was easy enough.
Much is life.
Well, finish the job.
So yeah, we're getting more of like a Steam Deck experience now.
Die!
This is kind of like the same kind of frame rates we were getting on the Steam Deck.
Probably because you're starting to make yourself.
But keep in mind, that's because I'm only at 25 watts, unplugged. Obviously, if you plug it into the wall and max out everything, it gets way more FPS than the Steam Deck. But when you're limiting it to more reasonable, like handheld standards like this, it's not really that much quicker most of the time. Except for in super CPU intensive games. Obviously this thing's CPU is way better, but GPU wise, when it's nerfed like this, not so much. So this is playable-ish. I can at least kind of play now, but I'm not having that kind of fun with these kind of low FPSs, just being honest. Ooh, that was interesting. Dropped all the way down to 18 there. So yeah, not a great experience on the Ally either on this game, unfortunately. And frame gen ain't gonna save it. Now where are all my crazy mad amounts of zombies? I wanted to go fight them again and I must have bypassed them. Well, there's one. Hey, zombie.
Don't let them outflank you.
Not gonna happen. We got this. Good night.
There we
Later
go.
on an easy ride.
Can't you? Doesn't exactly get the blood pumping.
But in any case, why don't we go ahead and go turn frame gen on, even though it's not going to make this a great experience anyway, but we're going to try it out just because we did it 1080p, so why not for 722? Alright, now we're going to do 720p with frame gen. So all these settings are exactly the same. Same here, except for having this on. We still got the same quality FSR on. And alright, now we can go ahead and go hop into the game. Well, alright,
You'll have this wrapped up pretty quickly.
let's get ourselves some gameplay here with frame gen on.
Well, that was a piece of cake.
Yes, almost disappointing. Now's your chance.
On it.
But yeah, kind of feels about the same, like I was expecting. Oh, nope, I thought he was on the ground and I could stab him with a knife.
Finished in
No.
record time.
Poor quality of the officer.
Pretty sure I'm maxed out on everything, but let's try opening the chest. You can't just not open a chest if you see it. Yep, figured.
This one's going to be a chore.
Not the pep talk I needed. Whoa.
Ah, here we go. We found my big old zombies.
Woo. Got you on your toes now.
Do you think you might consider getting hit a little less?
What do you think I am? Superhuman? And we're back. Good. Because it's tasted like crap. My aces are home. All right. How'd you like this?
That was rather good.
Hey, I'm just getting
So
started.
yeah, still not very playable, unfortunately. But it sure likes to pretend that it is. And at least we could try frame gen out on this thing.
Heads up.
But just like AMD said, it's not a great experience when you're not close to 60. Oh shit, I don't have any more heals. we got those two. Alright. Now I'm gonna try to figure out some settings that actually work to make the game playable-ish, but just like the Steam Deck, I just don't think it's gonna happen. But I'm gonna go give it my best shot. Well, pretty much the only conceivable way to get the most FPS we possibly can is obviously to run it at 720p. Have VSync off just for this test. Obviously, I'd probably like it to just 30 FPS if I could, but for the testing purposes, we'll leave it off. And we got pretty much everything on low. We had it turned FSR down to balanced. I turned frame gen off because it doesn't really help anyway when you're getting this low FPS. It just makes the FPS counter think you're getting more. But you yourself, even with the controller, it feels pretty much the same as it did with it off. But that's what I was expecting, so it's not like that was a big surprise to me. But in any case, now let's go see how my settings do. Well, now here we go with my settings. And I will say, it looks pretty terrible, but at least it's getting much more playable frame rates. Let's see if that stays while we fight all these crazy amounts of zombies again.
Just need to fight our way out. All right.
Now's your chance.
On it. Incoming. Whoa. How'd you like this?
Do you think you might consider getting hit a little less?
What do you think I am? Superhuman? Got you on your toes now.
Are you all right, Fred?
Ow. Ah! Well, that was a piece of cake.
Yes, it was disappointing.
Ha! Boundary. Ah!
Oh no, I think they got me. Don't know if I'm still alive for now.
Gotta find the right moment. We got this. Go get him. Whoa. Heads up. Good night.
I'm not sure whether this is really time right.
Persistent little bastards, aren't they? go. Damn wolves. Well, we've dwindled their numbers quite a bit.
How about this? They may be weak, but man, there's a lot of them.
No strength in numbers.
But alright, I think that's plenty of gameplay for this thing. At least we made it somewhat playable. It may look like crap, but at least it's getting playable FPS now. But in any case, why don't we go wrap this video on up? Well, alright guys, that is a wrap for Forspoken and testing out FSR 3 and frame gen. And as I thought, frame gen, when you're getting less than 60 already, does not help. Still feels just as input laggy and terrible as it did when it was getting its original FPS. So it is unfortunately not the savior some people think it is going to be. But FSR 3 is pretty nice. It still didn't make the game playable on this thing, but the game wasn't really playable on the Steam Deck, so didn't really think it was going to be very playable on this either. But at least we got it to a point where we got quite a decent amount of FPS. Like even the Steam Deck, even with turning everything down to low and whatnot, I couldn't get the FPS this thing was getting. But half the time, I turn the FPS up and make it better graphics and whatnot, so it ends up getting about the same frame rate as the Steam Deck anyway, just with better graphics. That's generally what happens, since, again, I am on 25 watts, unplugged, and don't you dare shut the screen off on me, you. And a lot of times it shuts the little RGB things off and whatnot too, although I think it might do that for battery, I'm not sure. But anyway, if you use my settings, the game's playable. It doesn't look great, but if this is your only way to play, you know, it is playable. I wouldn't rather not play like that, but that's just me. But this game's a really hard one to run. Even my laptop struggled with the game until you turned on FSR and all that stuff. Then it was no problem. But native, no thanks. It ain't happening unless you turn everything like on this to low, and then you get like 50 to 60, 70 FPS, but it drops under 60 a bunch. It takes my desktops to be able to play that game decently, and they still need help, usually from either DLSS or frame gen. Except for my 4090, that one can pretty much play almost maxed out and stay at 60, but even it needs, I guess, help. So no, even that one. Wished it wasn't the way it was, but that's just the way it is. It seems like, what should we call it? Upscaling tech is here to stay, and that's just how games are gonna run from now on. So I guess I'm just gonna have to get used to turning it on or getting horrible FPS. Those are my two choices. But in any case, I'm blabbing on and on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.